Hello and welcome to today's video. I hope you're ready for a rambly, long life update. So much life has happened. I have no idea how it's been over a month since I last uploaded. So I have a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot to catch you up on. But anyways, I hope you enjoy this. I'm just going to be applying this makeup that you see here. Really simple. It's mostly about the life update. So why don't we go ahead and get into it. Alright, as I get started, I was trying to wait for the air conditioning to turn off. I bumped it way up and it's still going. I don't know how to control the air conditioning in this like a hotel room, so we're just gonna go with it. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I'm gonna use some primer because I am now in fact living in the desert and my skin has noticed. I'm having to, well, one, we're working so much on certain things that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, that I'm filthy, so I take a lot of showers. Excuse my voice cracking. And so that has made my skin dry out. The water here is also pretty hard, which I'm not surprised by, but that's also harsh on my skin. So I'm thinking that a nice moisturizing primer is going to be my new best friend in the desert, which I don't mind. I think it does my skin benefits anyways. When it looks more hydrated, I feel like my skin can look a little bit more young. So I'm gonna go ahead and conceal just a little bit, and then I'll work on eyeshadow. I'm not gonna go crazy today. I'm honestly just doing my makeup because it's the first kind of moment to myself. Bo started work this past week, yesterday. So I literally have had, like yesterday when he went to work the first day, I laid in bed all day and like rested because we had been working our butts off. And then today I'm like, you know what, I feel pretty rested, I feel pretty good. Why don't I sit down and finally film a video? Which last night I sat down and like looked at my last video that I put up. I for sure didn't think it had been a month. It has been a month. It's crazy how quickly time has flown since even my last update with y'all. But yeah, let me back up. I think the last time that I updated you, I filmed like a day or two after my birthday, my 34th birthday, yeah, and that was on the 22nd of August, or around the 22nd of August. And so it has been a minute, obviously. I honestly haven't dug out all of my makeup yet, so this is the first palette that I came across. This is the Shine Bright palette from Lorac. I haven't used this in a hot minute because this was one of the ones that was in my storage when we were home, and so Bo brought it back to me from Phoenix City. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. So I'm just gonna play around with it. I'm not gonna do anything crazy, so I'm not gonna really talk much about what I'm doing. But yes, we flew in to Albuquerque like I think it was like September 8th or 9th, and when we left Sweden, so right before we left Sweden, I had my gestational diabetes test. And well, one, it was crazy, like from my birthday to the point where we flew out, it was a whirlwind of getting things done, like selling the rest of our stuff, making sure to donate what we could, like food and stuff, try to eat what we could so that we didn't throw away things. Also, like cleaning an apartment that you're living in. Like normally when you clean an apartment when you leave, like you moved all your stuff out, you go back in and clean, and then you're done. We were having to like figure out how to clean the apartment while still living there. So like that morning we like took a shower because it was gonna be a really long time, 27 hours worth of travel. So we knew we wanted to shower, got up that morning, showered, cleaned the tub one more time, and left. And luckily everything was really like worked out really well, and the house was very clean. And the people who moved in right after us, which we knew them, they were like, thank you for leaving. I think even they were like, we didn't expect you to be able to clean this well, but we did, because my mom always taught me that you leave the place better than what you found it, and I feel like we did that. So yeah, we cleaned the place, and then we embarked on a 27-hour door-to-door, 3 flights. We flew to Amsterdam, then we flew to Atlanta, and that was crazy. The layover in Atlanta was pretty short for how large of an airport it was, so we were like running to the terminal, and honestly we should have missed our last flight, but they were delayed in boarding, even though they never updated our app or any of the boards to say they were delayed. And so we ended up making our flight even though we were exhausted. But for the most part, the flights were pretty good. I was pretty nervous about being like really uncomfortable on them. I mean, being so pregnant and not knowing if I was going to be able to lay down or worry about my circulation and that kind of thing. I actually had on our really long flight from Amsterdam to Atlanta, I had an entire 4-seat 4-seat middle row to myself, so I was able to like lay down quite a bit. I mean, you're still uncomfortable because long flights like that suck, but it was so much nicer than it should have been. Honestly, the flight was so empty, and Bo sat in his own like little 2-seater area and he was super comfortable, so it was really kind of a blessing in disguise to be able to do that. And even on the last flight, where I was exhausted and it was such a long time, the flight was short, but we had been traveling at that point for such a long time that I was exhausted, and luckily even there I got to lay down in Bo's lap, and like we had a little 3-seater to ourselves, so I got to put my head in his little lap, and then we landed in Albuquerque. It was pretty late, like 9 something at night. Got our shuttle, got our rental car, and just came to our hotel. And well, we had to find something to eat, came to our hotel, and then like passed out. We luckily slept pretty well that night, but we always have trouble, like the jet lag was for real. The next week was so difficult. I like literally did not sleep. Like after the first night, I slept through the first night, but after that first week my sleep schedule was so messed up, and I had such a hard time sleeping that the only thing I knew what to do, it was to make sure that I set myself like an alarm to wake up, and even if I hadn't slept, I tried to make myself wake up so that I would be tired enough to go to bed, because if I let my body sleep when my body wanted to, I would still be on Sweden time, which wouldn't have been helping anything. But yeah, I spent that week mostly feeling like absolute doo-doo caca, like just exhausted. I think now in hindsight I can identify that I was also dehydrated, because you come to somewhere that, I mean, you're in the desert, there's like 0 humidity here, so I wasn't drinking enough, I was stressed. Bo flew in, he was here one day, and then he had to turn around and fly and go back to where our family is in Alabama, because he needed to be able to go and like get all of our stuff prepped for movers to come, load the moving van, load the moving van, and then he was going to come back. So he was gone for like 4 or 5 days. I honestly don't remember at this point, but during that time, which that's a whole nother crazy story that I'm not going to get into, he ended up being exposed to like a breakthrough COVID case, which we were kind of paranoid, like I don't want to be exposed to that. Even though both he and I are vaccinated, we were just really worried that, like, you know, if for him, if it was just him, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But once he was on his way back, we realized, oh crap, you've been exposed. And so I immediately had to pack up my stuff in this hotel room, which we're staying in for like a month now, or we're not here for a month. It hasn't been a month since we've been here, but we have this for a month total. So when he was on the way back and we realized, oh, he's been exposed, I literally had to pack a bag. And luckily we had friends in the area where I contacted them and I said, hey, this is our situation, can I please come stay on your couch? And luckily they were so kind and generous and let me do that. So I quarantined away from Bo for the CDC recommended like 3 to 5 days for him to like get tested. So during that time, he got back here, was exhausted obviously because he flew and worked so hard. And so we searched high and low for a COVID test, which was so much harder to find a rapid test than we thought it would be. All that was available in our area were like the PCR ones, which take like 3 days, and we really needed the results by Friday, because on Friday we were supposed to close on a house, which ended up being, I mean, we were going back and forth, like maybe I could sign power of attorney, like how do we handle this if he is positive, like if he also gets a breakthrough case of COVID. Do we reschedule? Is that an issue with the lending people? Is that an issue with title? Is that an issue with the buyers or the sellers? It was a hot mess. Bo and I have never bought a house before. We've never been homeowners, so we're very intimidated by the process in a lot of ways. So we were trying to figure that out. Luckily, we found an urgent care Friday morning, because he went to one urgent care. He walked there because I had the car with me. He walked there and got there, even though their website said we have they had the rapid tests. He got there and they had a sign on the door that was like, sorry, we don't have any rapid tests. So he was like, well, that sucks. So he went back, turned around, walked back to the hotel, and I found him another urgent care within walking distance, or like actually the hotel was able to drop him off in like a little airport van shuttle kind of thing, and he went and got tested there and ended up being negative. So I immediately again packed my bags, came over here to get him on Friday, and got dressed. We were waiting and waiting and waiting. We knew at some point we were told that the title company was gonna let us close that day, but that we were gonna have to do it outside in our car because they didn't want to take the risk that Bo could potentially, that I don't quite understand it all, but I guess they were worried that the test wouldn't have been super accurate, even though it turns out it was. He was not. He has been, I mean, we've had the house now for not quite 2 weeks, and he's fine. Like, he's had no symptoms. He and the negative test ended up being like legitimate, so that was good. I mean, I even for a little while wore my mask around him, and like we slept, luckily the hotel room that we have, like there's a pull-out couch here, and then there's a separate room with a bed in it. So because I didn't know how my body would react if I got COVID, that, I mean, especially since I also have gestational diabetes, and we didn't have health insurance until this week. We had a couple weeks, or a little over a week without health insurance because starting the job and things like that. It was a hot mess, but I feel like I'm just blabbering at you. I hope this is making sense. But anyways, we tried our best to be as careful as possible. We in fact did our house closing in the back of our car. We like opened up the back and sat in the back, and our realtor helped us sign the papers, and she was like the paper wrangler, and the title woman called us from the phone, and it ended up going pretty smoothly. I mean, it sounds probably more of a hot mess than it felt. I felt like everything we signed made sense. We had the opportunity to read through them earlier in the day, so it wasn't, any of it wasn't a surprise. We had kind of read through them. Then she also, like the title woman, was able to kind of explain things yet again and make sure we understood everything. It was just, it ended up being surprisingly, it went well, which was surprising. Also, like, Bo and I were in shock the rest of the day and for the rest of the weekend, and I feel like kind of like just continually in shock at this point. We're like, I don't know, I think in my head, I think Bo, maybe not so much, I'm speaking more for myself here, I never really thought that home ownership was something that would happen. Like, I don't know, it just felt so unattainable for so long because it's just never been something on our radar. We went married, then we went to grad school, and you're poor as heck in grad school, and then we moved overseas for 3 years, and then we come here, and it's just, I didn't know if I believed in my heart of hearts that it would actually happen. So the fact that we actually own a home now is terrifying and exciting all at the same time. It's really nice to know that we have some time to work on it like we want to, and that we don't have to move when the baby is like little. We have plenty of like runway now to, like, I don't know, make it our own. At the same time, that nesting instinct is very real, and I'm definitely feeling, I'm like, there's so many things I would like to do before our stuff arrives in mid-October, but I'm just gonna have to let that go. Like, that perfectionism is gonna have to go away at some point, because it's just gonna be impossible to get everything done that I want to get done. Either financially, you're cash strapped once you buy a house, or you know, just again, time too, because I can't do much. I can't really paint. I can't lift more than 25 pounds. I'm practically useless. I feel like I'm in the way more than I'm helping usually. And there were definitely a couple days we got in the house, when we first got in the house, we were like, let's clean this thing. And when we went so hard that like the next day I was like, or that night, and the next day I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in pain. I looked it up. I gave myself pelvic girdle pain. Luckily, I've rested and that's gone away. It was just a temporary little thing, and I had to realize, like, you can't do that to yourself anymore. You can't, there are certain positions that I can't assume for a long time, and that's okay. I learned. I'm not going to do that again. It wasn't scary if that's what it's coming across. It was just more like kind of having to realize, like, look, you have limits. You can't do the things that you think you should be able to do, even though you really want to contribute more. Unfortunately, a lot more of the house stuff is falling on Bo's shoulders, which he is a champion and he doesn't mind. I just feel guilty because I feel like I know I should be able to do this stuff, but yet my body's like, nah girl, you just can't, not right now. So as I powder my face, I feel like my brain is starting to clear up. I talked a little bit about the flights over. I talked a little bit about the craziness of leading up to getting the house. And once we got the keys to the house, which actually took place, we were supposed to get them I think the day of closing, but for some reason a lot of stuff was just crazy that day, and we were exhausted that we didn't get the keys until the next morning, which was fine by me. I didn't have any energy to go to the house and like even look at it. So we got the keys the next day. I mean, we bought this house mostly sight unseen. We got to see it right before we closed when we got here, but at that point, you know, if you're gonna back out, you're gonna lose your earnest money and all kinds of stuff, and you've spent money on appraisals and home inspections and stuff like that. But we ended up feeling relieved when we finally saw the house. We're like, okay, we do like it. It's a 30-year-old house, and it needs a lot of work. I think a lot of the color choices in the house, like they were like this tan pink. I think they meant for it to be like a warm tan neutral, but it ends up pulling so pink. And then the doors and trim work in the house in some areas are like a dark pinky salmon color. I don't understand it. But again, it was built in the 90s or in 1990. So it is, you know, it's going to be a work in progress. We immediately again went in and started cleaning, which again we had to no cleaning stuff, so we had to make it like a huge Walmart trip and go clean and change the locks, and it's been so much work so far. We've only had the house, like I said, not even 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Not 2 weeks. And I feel like I'm already learning hard lessons of what it's going to be like to own a home, which is I'm always underestimating how much I'm going to spend, and then overestimating how the length of time. Like I always think, oh well, we should be able to get this done in like this amount of time, and it's going to take like at least 5 more hours, or possibly double depending on the size of the project. But we picked out a color scheme for the house, and we're starting the process of painting. We started painting we've painted ceilings in a couple bedrooms, and we painted our master bedroom walls, but we still need to touch up. Like we're learning. We've never painted walls before, so that we made some mistakes, and we were like, okay, I think we know how to fix it. They're not huge mistakes, they're just things that like, oh, had we done this before, we probably wouldn't have made that stupid silly mistake. But I already think that the bedroom color looks so much better, which was really fun. But it also makes me realize that this house is a lot bigger than I anticipated, and it's gonna be a lot more work than I thought to like fix it up the way I want to. It's just gonna take a lot more time and work, and I've got to just digest that. So I'm gonna go use this mirror here. This was the only bronzer that I could find for my little Becca palette, so hopefully, I don't remember if it's more pigmented or not, and that looks fine. I honestly have been, if I have been wearing makeup, I have been going without bronzer because I don't know where I have mine packed. So I found this one in this stuff that I had packed a little like carry-on case for Bo to bring back to me once he went home to get our stuff. And so I was like, well, thank goodness that this was in there, because otherwise I'd be looking like a pale mess around here. But anyways, I do have some footage, or I tried to get some like a walkthrough footage on this camera in the house. It's gonna probably be horribly lit and probably a little bumpy because I haven't actually even looked at the footage to make sure it looks okay. But that's the best I could do. Honestly, every time we go over there, I have my phone, and sometimes I have this camera, but the moment we walk in, we hit the ground running on working on something, and I forget to actually like take pictures. So people, like our family, have been asking for pictures. I have a couple friends who are like, send me a picture of her house. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do that, and every time we go over there, I forget to take a photo of the house. So I don't have any photos of the house yet, and in fact, the footage that I have, we had already started painting. I think we had already started painting ceilings and stuff, so I forgot to get proper like before footage. Things are gonna be so busy for the next couple of weeks, like I said, until like mid-October. We have the chance to kind of get in there and deeply clean like we want to, and do a little bit of painting before our stuff, the movers move our stuff and our stuff arrives. And we don't really have a ton of furniture arriving anyway, so there's a lot of work to do, and I gotta go furniture shopping, which is a hassle. If you know anything about the furniture market right now, everything is back ordered. We have been to a couple places and looked at couches, and have been told that it could take up to 30 weeks to get a couch. Which I don't, you can make a viable baby in 30 weeks. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that it would take that long. But then again, I know that you know, COVID has really affected a lot of things, and especially like furniture industry. I mean, we saw how hard it was ourselves to even buy a house during this time. Part of me was like thinking like, we're kind of dumb to try to be doing a home search from overseas during a pandemic where everybody is buying houses, or everybody's buying houses. At least in this area, the houses were listed maybe for like a day and they would go off the market. But we looked up, we found one we really like. I really like the neighborhood of the house that we're in so much, so I have high hopes that we've met one neighbor. I have high hopes that we'll actually like meet some of our neighbors. That's like not typically a thing in Sweden. Like I think we may have met like one neighbor in Sweden, in one of our apartment buildings in Sweden. In the last place we lived, which we were only there for like a month or two, we didn't meet anybody. So I, again, have high hopes that we're gonna make some friends in the neighborhood. I'll be excited when we finally get to move in there, because right now it just feels like we're living in a hotel, because we are, and it doesn't feel like Albuquerque is home yet. But I'm anxious for it to feel like home. Really quickly, I'm gonna pause the camera and put on some mascara, and then I'll be right back to kind of close things out. Okay, I'm back and mascara is on. Anyways, like I was saying, yeah, things have been super busy. In fact, the past over a month have flown by. I feel like September flew by. I don't even know if we had a real September. Apparently we did, but it doesn't feel like it. So I'd like to say that things are gonna get easier over the next month, or that things are gonna resume to a normal schedule for me, where I feel like a normal human being again. But I have a feeling that will be next year. I was about to say November, and then I was like, well, no, who are you kidding? I now feel like we have to finish doing things to the house before our stuff arrives, and then as soon as that's kind of over and settled, then I need to figure out how to have baby showers and prep for a baby, because literally we've been living in Sweden, so we have very, very little for the baby. And I'm in my, officially as of last Sunday, I'm in my 3rd trimester now, and we've done nothing for this baby to prepare really for this baby. So we have to make that a new priority, and then next thing you know, it will be probably my due date. And then so I'm due it on like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, but because of the gestational diabetes, I haven't seen a doctor here in Albuquerque yet. I'll do that early next week, or next week. I know that I more than likely probably won't be allowed to carry to my due date. At least that's what I read a lot about, is that they don't typically let you go, at least they don't let you go past your due date, because the babies would, if you're having a baby with gestational diabetes, they tend to be a little bit bigger, and it's not quite safe for them to be going past their due date, because they might be too big, and that could complicate the pregnancy. So I'm really curious what the doctor is gonna say to me next week. I'm trying my best. Like I said, I was diagnosed right before I left, and I'll talk more about this. Hopefully I get a chance to make a second trimester recap video where I'll talk a little bit more about it. But I've been trying to figure out the gestational diabetes stuff on my own, because I haven't been able to go to a doctor yet. But yeah, it's a hot mess. I feel like a hot mess, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing good, and I'm in really good spirits. It's all exciting stuff, even if it is super stressful. But yeah, I saw recently that everybody's starting to upload Real It Pan collab, Project Pan stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should film. And I'm like, who am I kidding? Like, when am I gonna wear makeup? Like, today's the first time, literally since my last Get Ready With Me, that I've put on makeup. Like, no, minus the signing day, I put on a little bit of makeup because I knew that we would take a photo, even though it was going to be under a mask. So it's crazy. Like I said, I would like to say that things would get back to Project Pan content soon, but I have a feeling that if I want to make content in the next month or so, that it might need to be more vlog style, which I actually kind of like that. I find myself watching a lot of vlog style videos. So if you're interested in that, I hope that you tune in if I'm able to make videos. I don't want to also overpromise and underdeliver. But I'm not typically a vlogger, so hopefully I'll figure out a way to vlog. I'm also going to insert the footage of the house at this point, so I hope you enjoy that. And I hope to see you in the next video. Hopefully it won't be another month before I upload another video. It shouldn't be. Hopefully you'll get another video from me pretty soon. But anyways, I hope that everybody's doing okay. I've missed y'all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, starting with a little side entrance, and then our front door is actually on the side of the house. We have been working for like a solid week, and Bo painted ceilings today by himself.
Just 2 little ceilings.
Yeah. So we have some tile entry, a little pony wall, an awkward shaped living room that I have no idea what to do with yet in terms of how to fit furniture and how to put a TV in here and make it not look crazy. Then we have around this corner is the kitchen, and kitchen, just standard kitchen. Place was built in the 1990, I think. So not the newest like architectural details, but you know, I think it has potential. I don't know why you would paint your walls and ceiling like this beigey pink color, but it is what it is. And then that opens back up to dining living area that we're still trying to figure out. And again, that was from the master bedroom. It's disgusting. A little gas fireplace, which I think is very pretty, except for the fact that I do kind of wish it was not on this corner, and I hate that curve. I hate it, but it's okay. Then again, back here. So right here is the master bedroom, and it is prepped to paint the ceiling, but I think I can walk through here and show you bathroom, which needs a lot of work as well. Toilet over here in the corner. Nice big master closet. Very excited to have so much room. You can fit a lot in there. And then again, big old garden tub, but it's just so, I don't know, so awkwardly placed. It takes up more room than it needs to. Oh gosh, I look lovely. And then back out here, go to the right. Sorry, shaking the camera all around. Then we have, this is gonna be baby's room. I think it's like meant to be like possibly a study. We're gonna paint the wall still, so that's why the cut-in job on the ceiling looks like it does. But Bo painted this by himself today. First time we've ever painted anything. That was an experience. I cleaned the windows. Well, you should the blinds too. And then in here, or through that room, we have guest bathroom, which again, I don't know why we would paint it. Like, I don't know if it comes across on camera. It's like a pink color. Like you see, it's like a salmon, and that's like a lighter salmon. I don't know. It was, choices were made. Old kind of like blue tile black splash, but I kind of like it. I'm still working on getting it clean. It's looking a little bit better, but need to re-caulk around the bottom of the tub. And then back out here, there's a linen closet, just your standard linen closet. Then we have a little guest room that, again, Bo painted by himself today because I cannot help. It looks so good. I think it's gonna look really good once we paint the walls and everything too. So that's that. And then this is just a wall that's actually, our garage is on the other side, which you can't see. It's about to get dark in a second. We have the garage. We have some old storage here. It's not huge. Water heater, a little bit more storage. So standard boring garage. And then yeah, we have furnace and washer dryer with all of our cleaning stuff, more painting supplies, and then we wrap back around to master bedroom and entryway. So that's it. Just kidding, I did want to point out that I did remember to put on lipstick, and anyways, now I'll say an official goodbye. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.